Rock stars and smoking. The scandalous truth finally revealed. From chain-smoking icons to unexpected puffing pop stars, you won't believe who made our list. Keep watching to uncover the shocking secrets of the 35 worst smokers in rock and roll history. 35. John Lennon. John Lennon, like the rest of his bandmates, was a Marlboro man. He smoked clear up until the day he was murdered. Shortly before that, he had switched to a heavy-duty French cigarillo brand called Gauloise. He had made an attempt to quit smoking in the 70s at the advice of his therapist, but he was unsuccessful. As far as cigarettes are concerned, in his last years he smoked a French brand called Gauloise, very heavy-duty. On his last days, he was smoking Gitans, another French cigarette. Maybe this was a substitute for the Gauloise cigarette because of availability, or he had switched brands permanently. It also has been said that early in his career, the brand was American Marlboros.
John? Yeah? John?
What's that, George?
Have you got a cigarette for me, please?
I think I've got one here for you, George. It's Marlboro.
I've just got a packet.
With a micro-knee finger.
Marlboro with a micro-knee finger?
No,
Why, thank you very much, John.
It's a big cigarette
I
for
will-
a big man.
Ha, I will light it down. We are smoking our
Marlboro, George
I
and John.
am
Buddies and pals.
34. Frank Sinatra. It's a wonder that Frank's voice held up the way it did. When he drank, he smoked cigarettes, and vice versa. In some cases, he was singing and smoking at the same time. It was a habit that he ended up taking to his grave. He wasn't shy about promoting cigarettes like Chesterfields. Smokers like old Blue-Eyed Sinatra managed to salvage their singing voices amidst a cloud of cigarette smoke due to a combination of factors. One of the main reasons is that Sinatra, and likely many other singers of his era, developed a unique vocal technique known as mix singing, a style that blends the registers of the voice to produce a smooth, consistent tone. This allowed him to maintain a consistent pitch and timbre despite the strain caused by smoking.
As you know, each week I come to you through the courtesy of my mother and father in Chesterfield. Chesterfield. You start with the grade 8 tobacco, the best that you can get. It's the sound of big pleasure, the sound I'll be making for Chesterfield in this time spot every week. It'll be easy for me because Chesterfield is my brand. It has been for years. No kidding either.
33. Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix came from an era of music where smoking was as standard as the guitar. To put it succinctly, he smoked like a chimney. It was a part of making his voice grittier and raspier. Of course, he did it to unwind, often combining smoking and drinking when with friends. He was one of the most influential musicians of the psychedelic rock movement of the late 1960s and is widely regarded as one of the most talented guitarists in history. He was inducted posthumously into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1992.
Oh man.
Un sewing jacket in minutes, pas comme ça. Ah, the one with all the things created. Where's the legal comme il va s'amuser de faire. Bon.
32. Jim Morrison. Virtually every photograph of Jim Morrison still in existence shows him with a cigarette of some sort. The exact number of cigarettes he smoked per day is hard to deduce, since he wasn't above bumming cigarettes from fans in the front row during concerts. Some say that he was partial to Marlboros. Others say that he had a taste for the French cigarillo brand called Gauloise. He was at least dedicated to burning through 2 packs a day by some counts. 31. Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan has been generous and open on his experience with addiction, including his rounds with cigarettes. He had an extensive radio spot where he discussed what happens when the tobacco plant collides with popular culture. In the program, he composed several songs that express frustration with what nicotine does to the body and mind. He touted the plausible but inaccurate theory about the human body developing extra receptors in the brain that starved when there was an interruption in the intake of nicotine. Bob Dylan was one of the most influential folk musicians of the 1960s. His music was heavily intertwined with the civil rights movement and anti-war protests. He was known for his gentle, poetic songs whose lyrics focused on social, philosophical, and political topics. Some of his best-known songs include Blowin' in the Wind and The Times They Are A-Changin'.
Inspiration, imagination, improvisation.
30. Mel B. In an interview last year, Mel B admitted to chain smoking and taking cocaine to get through her abusive marriage. The former Spice Girl said she took drugs while working on X Factor because she felt so low in her personal life and was battling depression. Speaking to The Sun, she said of her drug taking, "I was a sad, pathetic person. I was out of control. The truth was, I was kidding myself that I had found a magic formula for dealing with my life. The cocaine only made my depression worse, and I was permanently anxious and on edge." Since divorcing her husband in 2017, Mel B's kicked her drug habit. She's still regularly caught on camera outside venues with a cigarette in hand, though. Melanie Janine Brown, MBE, commonly known as Mel B or Melanie B, is an English singer, songwriter, television personality, and actress. She rose to fame in the mid-1990s as a member of the pop girl group The Spice Girls, in which she was nicknamed Scary Spice.
So I got Mel B. She's still at the pool in Miami. She's getting her drink on. She's smoking. She's greasing up like oil up chicken. She pulls
29. Zayn Malik. He's gone from a squeaky clean boy bander to a rebellious outsider, and now Zayn Malik has upset fans by posting a pic of himself puffing away on a suspicious-looking cigarette to Instagram. The controversial pic comes a year after a video went viral of the 22-year-old and his former bandmate Louis Tomlinson smoking what appeared to be a joint while One Direction were touring in South America. Pop singer Zayn has no trouble admitting that he smokes, even sharing that he smoked quite a bit in school. He felt that it was a creative aid, helping him think outside the box and come up with different concepts. Some fans are a bit uncomfortable with him crediting his creativity to nicotine, afraid that he might influence younger fans. 28. Katy Perry. Miss Perry's story is an unfortunate example of how one cigarette is all it takes to lead to a deeply ingrained and heavy smoking habit. She picked up smoking to help her deal with the stress of planning her wedding, meaning that fortunately, she doesn't have an extensive track record with cigs. But that brief stint with the cancer sticks was enough to get her hooked. She's reportedly smoking every chance she gets, and fans and friends alike are concerned that she could be doing extensive damage to her vocal cords, as smoking can change your voice. Fears are that she could be following in the footsteps of Whitney Houston, whose singing abilities were endangered by her chain smoking. It's a vicious cycle for Katy since she's always in the public eye, and so stress is a constant factor. '27. Miley Cyrus. The great daughter of country singer Billy Ray Cyrus has had a cigarette in one hand and a joint in the other since some unspecified time in history that involved mouse ears, but she has proudly been able to put down the nicotine and quit smoking cigarettes. Her affection for pot, however, doesn't seem to be fading anytime soon. Miley Cyrus openly dabbles in drugs. The 27-year-old singer vowed to stop using marijuana in 2017, admitting that taking drugs impacts her work. But she started smoking cannabis at the end of last year when her mom introduced her to it. Speaking to USA Today, Cyrus admits, "My mom got me back on it. When I'm just working, I don't think I function at my highest, most intelligent, most being able to be as aware and as present. So I don't smoke when I work." 26. Justin Bieber. The Biebs started smoking marijuana when he was 12, and it led him down a slippery slope of addiction, partially fueled by his quick rise to fame and his unstable background. A lot of the bad drug habits that he accumulated have been shed, but he seems to struggle with lighting up a cigarette, despite a New Year's resolution to quit. Justin Bieber has a history of smoking and heavy drug use. In 2015, the Canadian singer-songwriter was even caught on camera smoking a cigarette before he walked down the red carpet at the American Music Awards. Bieber recently opened up about his experience with drugs, something he's now managed to quit. In a story covered by The Independent, the star revealed he battled with depression and turned to destructive behavior to cope. But the Grammy Award-winning artist has finally found that life has changed for the better thanks to his faith, marriage to model Hailey Baldwin, and his support network of friends and family. Bieber revealed his struggles with drug misuse to fans via a candid Instagram post earlier this year. The post can be read in full below.
Hey guys, do a spade.
Alright, let's go.
What up, baby?
25. Johnny Cash. In an era when singers smoked like chimneys and fans were perfectly okay with it, Johnny Cash picked up the habit of smoking cigarettes when he was only 12 years old. It was a heavy smoking habit that he carried with him most of his career. When he was 56, he emerged from double bypass surgery in critical but stable condition. Before he went under for the procedure, the country musician made up his mind that he was going to put the smokes down for good. He had already been through ditching other stronger substances, so quitting smoking would be nothing unusual for him.
When you start your beat, your heart will beat.
I never got to have a smoke with AP before. So, he died in 1960. I never got to know him, not really. Never got to have a smoke with him.
24. Keith Richards. The Rolling Stones legend quit smoking as recently as 2019. He made the decision, among other reasons, to keep the Rolling Stones on the road for as long as possible. He confirmed that he hasn't had a cigarette since October of that year. The rock star has echoed the sentiment made by many former smokers and doctors that quitting nicotine is harder than quitting heroin. He commented that quitting heroin is hell, but it's a short hell. Cigarettes and the monkey that asked for them are always there. If he isn't careful, he'll pick one up and light it without even thinking about it. 23. Dave Mustaine. Throughout his life, Dave Mustaine has maintained the image of an angry, embittered, rebellious youth, and he seems to be as immortal as his thirst for revenge against his former bandmates in Metallica. After being a heavy smoker for many years, time came calling and left a reminder that bad habits spare nobody in 2019 when the Megadeth legend was diagnosed with throat cancer. As a result, he had to cancel all concerts for the remainder of the year.
So, are there any bands that you like? Dave, I heard that you really like Guns N' Roses.
Me?
No?
Oh. They're friends of mine. I like Slash. I've been hanging around with them a little bit lately. We talk on the phone all the time, but
22. Lou Reed. Lou Reed could get through half a pack of cigarettes during a single interview. More than once, he'd interject over the smoke that he was trying to quit. Friends had said that they quit smoking 20 times with him. Reed supposedly was successful in giving up the habit a short time before his death. Lou Reed, who has died aged 71, was lead singer and chief songwriter with the seminal late 1960s New York band The Velvet Underground, and one of America's most enduring and influential rock musicians. Pale, soft-spoken, and sinister in black clothes and tinted glasses, Reed was the prototype white urban hipster whose grim songs captured in sordid detail the sublime miseries of urban lowlife and introduced to the American pop song hitherto taboo subjects such as transvestitism, sadomasochism, and drug abuse.
We know that Lou Reed sang songs about speed and heroin that were anthemic.
You like singing about drugs. Is this because you like taking drugs yourself?
Oh, no, because I don't take them.
No drugs at all?
Mm-mm.
And yet you sing about them.
I'm high on life.
You want people to take drugs themselves. Is this perhaps why you sing about drugs?
Oh, yeah, I want them to take drugs.
When I took dope, I wasn't trying to expand my mind. I was just a drug addict. You know, there's no mind expansion going on. It's just out and out drug addict.
21. Ariana Grande. The internet is really hush-hush about some things, and Ariana Grande's relationship with cigarettes is one of them. Interrogating Google only reveals a few pictures of the pop princess taking a smoke break, along with fan pages done in an FAQ format that simply state that she's a regular smoker. Other than that, when she got started and how many she burns a day is classified information.
I knew, well, we were in the 13 callbacks when we first met. I was very driven. I really wanted to get them all, and I felt that the best way.
20. Beyonce. Beyonce drew a lot of fire when she appeared in an advertisement showing her holding an upscale cigarette holder. Ever since, fans have come across images of the singing starlet sneaking in a drag or two. But the finer details, such as how long and how often the beauty lights one up, are not privy to the public. 19. Lana Del Rey. Born to Die songstress Lana Del Rey has opened up about the things she loves that she knows are bad for her and listed cigarettes, coffee, and sugar as her three main vices. The beauty told Complex magazine that she often drinks in excess of 10 cups of coffee per day, and also she can't stop smoking. Well, smoking is one of them. Sugar, coffee, I must have 13 cups a day. It's a shame about the health consequences because a lot of great things happen over coffee and a cigarette. A lot of great songs were written. Yeah, I'm a chain smoker. She also opened up about the fact that she smokes while performing live on stage, adding, "Dude, I have to. I can't get through it. I'm a chain smoker. If people come and see you at a show for 80 minutes, they literally know everything about you. With 5,000 people coming, they film you so the people in the back can see you on the screens. There isn't a moment when you can turn around and gather yourself. Everything you feel, everything you're emoting is just there. I have toured so much more than I thought I would. I thought I would be more of a studio singer, but I toured Europe for 2 years. Adele. After falling into a habit of 25 cigarettes a day and several run-ins with conditions like laryngitis, legendary singer Adele made a strong effort to kick the heavy smoking habit. Her relationship with smoking has been on and off since, mostly due to her belief that quitting the smokes actually changed her voice for the worse. Fans think her voice has sounded better, but her ears tell her otherwise.
I'm pretty angry that I've given up smoking. I can notice that it's good for me, but smoking was my thing. It's like my favourite thing to do. I love it. I really miss it. I really miss it. So I will be writing songs, an angry song to my voice therapist.
17. Phil Anselmo. Black Sabbath made metal and marijuana a thing with their song Sweet Leaf, but it didn't stop there. Phil Anselmo, along with Dimebag Darrell and Vinnie Paul, took heavy metal and weed to the next level with Pantera. The Cowboys from Hell pioneered the new wave of American heavy metal and smoked hella reefer while doing it, as well as some unfortunately harder stuff. Luckily, Phil has recovered from his addictions, but pot still has a special place for him.
This next one goes out to the alcoholics in the audience. General, man. Yeah.
16. Ray Charles. Ray Charles had a successful career long before the 1960s, but he was also a hugely influential artist throughout the decade. Throughout the 1950s, he was a pioneer of the soul genre, helping fuse a wide number of genres into the contemporary music we know today. In 1960, he recorded Georgia on My Mind, one of the most famous tracks of his career. Charles is credited with modernizing country music and blending it with mainstream genres.
I never give advice. I can only tell people what I found, what I've seen and what I've witnessed that might have happened to me, and then I can comment on it about it, but I don't give advice, no. That's probably what you heard.
Maybe that's it, yeah.
15. James Brown. James Brown is widely referred to as the godfather of soul. He was one of the key musicians in the development of modern genres of funk, soul, and R&B. He is also considered one of the major influences on the development of hip-hop and rap, thanks to his unique rhythmic speaking style used intermittently throughout his songs. His most famous tracks include Papa's Got a Brand New Bag, It's a Man's World, and Get Up Off of That Thing. "14. Whitney Houston. If you keep up with your celebrity news, you know that years before Whitney died unexpectedly, her career was going downhill. From performances that showed her not being able to hit her high notes and forgetting lyrics on the BET Awards, to her most well-known song, I Will Always Love You. Longtime manager Clive Davis has stated in a Rolling Stone interview that long before the drugs, the cigarettes ruined Whitney's voice, and Whitney even admitted herself that she would get her voice back because she is going to cut out cigarette smoking. Unfortunately, a week after that conversation, Whitney died.
That was a hard battle to come back from. People saying, I told you so, I told you so. I remember Whitney crying about Bobby. Chris would go over and just rock her and say, oh, Ma, it's okay. It's okay, Ma, don't cry. He's gone, so we're gonna let him be gone. She said, I'm a failure. I fell.
13. Aretha Franklin. One of the most recognized and celebrated voices was almost non-existent. In an interview with Salon magazine, the Queen of Soul herself, Aretha Franklin, admitted that smoking almost ruined her distinctive voice. She admitted that smoking was a way to manage her weight, but Franklin soon realized that subtle changes began developing in her voice and decided to finally put down the habit. Although she began gaining weight, she said she noticed that her voice was repairing itself and sounding clearer and stronger. Surely a great idea for both her voice and health.
The girl was special. I remember watching the guys, being good Southern boys.
12. Courtney Love. In 2007, former Hole frontwoman Courtney Love revealed that she had pre-op nodules on her throat and would have to undergo surgery in order to correct it. Admitting that by the state her nodules were in, the doctor could easily guess how much she was smoking on a daily basis. Her love for chain smoking has affected her voice on tour, and in an interview with People magazine, Love even admits that if she does not put a stop to smoking entirely, she will not be eligible for the surgery that can save her raspy voice. 7. Britney Spears. Although not really known for her vocal strength, Miss Britney Spears actually had a decent voice when she popped up on the music scene at 14 years old. Unfortunately, the common scenario of too much, too fast for child stars is all too familiar for Britney, picking up bad habits like hard partying, late nights, and smoking. After an unedited version of Spears' song Alien was released, her vocal abilities were questioned. There have been reports from several magazines like In Review and Star stating that Britney has been trying to quit her 40 cigarette a day habit. This was encouraged by music executives like Simon Cowell, who connected with the X Factor America judge and expressed his concerns about her voice, stating that smoking is no good for her voice. Vocal coach Roger Burnley stated to earsucker.com, "It's common with smokers. Smoking dehydrates the voice, so singers have to push to hit the right notes."
In the past year, a report that she had tried serious drugs at a club. We asked, starting with marijuana.
I've been around people and I've gotten the high off of it, and that is enough for me. I can't do that. I don't do that.
You talked about experimenting, partying. Cocaine?
10. Alison Krauss. Smoky-voiced Alison Krauss is a known smoker, stating in a Rolling Stone magazine interview in 1995 that she started smoking simply because it pissed people off. Fast forward to 2013, Krauss was forced to cancel a festival appearance due to the development of dysphonia, a term used to describe a number of conditions that affect the vocal cords, like laryngitis, polyps, and nodules. One of the main reasons for developing such a condition is smoking. She was forced to go on vocal rest and encouraged not to try and hit upper register notes.
Alison Krauss with Suzanne Cox and Cheryl White.
Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man.
9. Rihanna. Pop star Rihanna has gone on record saying that she fears for her health as a smoker. During an interview with EntertainmentWise.com, Rihanna stated that she is trying to quit smoking, and she is acknowledging how hard it has been for her. In addition to smoking weed, cigarettes are another vice that she is trying to quit after realizing that there have been subtle changes in her voice. We really hope Rihanna can hold up and quit smoking completely, as we wouldn't want Riri to lose her sexy and unique voice.
Happy 420. It's 420 in the NO. Say hi, Em.
8. Joni Mitchell. Starting her smoking saga at the very young age of 9 years old while on a fishing trip, Joni Mitchell has made no secret of her battle with cigarettes and trying to quit the addictive habit. By 2002, Mitchell had released a new album which didn't do as well as she had planned. In an interview with W Magazine that same year, Mitchell stated that she didn't take good and proper care of her voice, and she could unfortunately no longer provide the range of voice to fans that she used to, due to a life of smoking and drinking. Joni Mitchell's music career meandered through the 50s and 60s before she found acclaim in the 70s. While many deemed her a hippie and her 1969 song Woodstock fed those perceptions, she's also an influential female voice of the 70s. Throughout that decade, she released 8 studio albums, hitting silver, gold, or platinum certification with them all. She also released a live album during the 70s that hit gold.
There isn't anything singular, There's healthy pride and unhealthy pride. I try not to indulge too much in pride, but, there are cases, man, in the street where people...
7. Amy Winehouse. Although a majority of the late Amy Winehouse's vocal problems stem mainly from her difficult drug addiction to cocaine, Just before her death, she had been diagnosed with emphysema, which contributed to her lack of live performances and her struggles to hit the notes she was once capable of hitting so greatly. In an interview with MTV, her father was quoted as saying that smoking crack and cigarettes had unfortunately given her this incurable lung disease, which contributed to her lack of performing live. This is especially sad when you think of the powerful voice this young star once had.
More trouble for Amy Winehouse. That's Winehouse inhaling fumes from some sort of pipe.
Cry.
The video was shot just hours before she showed up to support jailed husband Blake Fielder's civil at his London court appearance, January 18th. This grainy video footage was obtained by the British newspaper The Sun. It shows Winehouse walking around what looks like her home. She sits down, seemingly aware a camera is watching.
Took about 6 video.
6. Cheryl Cole. After noticing small changes in her voice, Cheryl Cole's music producers and executives sat her down and asked her to stop smoking. They feared that she was jeopardizing her voice, and her team is now giving her an ultimatum to quit smoking for the third and final time. Although she quit in the past, even Cheryl is now trying her hardest to stay on top of quitting, out of fear of her voice changing. She was told by her voice coach that the constant smoking is stopping her voice from responding to techniques properly. Realizing she has a lot to prove since being called out by fellow X Factor judge Lewis Walsh for a less than good live performance on the show a few seasons ago, Cheryl has stated in a Metro article that she knows her singing voice is her job.
David? Tough town to get a lighter in. And you guys have
5. Lady Gaga. In her Netflix documentary, Gaga 5'2", Lady Gaga can be seen smoking. However, she doesn't just smoke regular cigarettes, she smokes clove cigars. Clove cigars, or Kretex, are slim cigarettes made from a mix of tobacco, cloves, and other ingredients. They contain eugenol, a numbing agent, and can be more harmful than standard cigarettes. Reports suggest that Beyoncé, who is a close friend of Lady Gaga, disapproves of her smoking habits. Despite this, Gaga continues to indulge in smoking, which has raised concerns among her fans and health experts alike.
You guys having fun? Look at this. Cigarettes. Some weed. Thank you. Holland, is it real? Don't tease me. So, we just want to make sure if it's real, really, is all we're trying to tell. Oh, it's real.
Four, Liam Gallagher. Oasis's Liam Gallagher is infamous for his love of a rock and roll lifestyle. The singer drinks, smokes, and takes recreational drugs, but says he's trying to cut back. Following his own experience with substance abuse, Gallagher warned other singers to not follow in his path. He told the Daily Star, "I've made some howlers in my personal life. I've had a couple of marriages and hurt my kids in that. So personally, my advice would be don't take too many drugs and don't drink too much alcohol. You should stop that because that gets you in situations."
Yeah, the main thing for me is like, obviously I smoke and I drink and I get involved, unlike some fucking rock stars. And I've been doing that since I was 14, 15. I might have had 6 months off a couple of years ago for a breather. But I'm normally drinking and smoking and whatever.
The one breather in the last 25 years.
I've had 6 months off in the last 30. So my voice will change, and it will change over years anyway, you know what I mean? But it's all about in there, you know what I mean? It's like as soon as that mic opens, as soon as that mic's there, and you go to put your stamp on it, if you feel it there, you know what I mean? It's coming out. If it's lethargic coming out of there.
3. Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran's had a few failed attempts to quit smoking over the years, but he gave up cigarettes in 2017 and has now been a non-smoker for 2 years. Speaking on the Ellen DeGeneres show, the Global Award-winning singer revealed, "The reason I kind of liked smoking so much was just that it was a routine. Do a sound check, have a cigarette. Do a gig, have a cigarette. Have food, have a cigarette." He added the reason he gave up was that I realized that I'd been smoking for 10 years and that's bad.
You told me today you quit smoking. Congratulations, you quit smoking. That's really good. Now, how did you do it? Did just willpower, or?
Yeah, it was cold. It was cold turkey. I realised that I'd been smoking for 10 years, and that's bad. And I was like, because always, like, I started smoking when I was younger, and I'd always say, like, oh, I'm gonna quit. And then, like, I'd always be like, oh, I haven't been smoking for that long. I've been smoking for like 4 years. Like, that's normal. And then when it got to 10 years, I was like, I'm probably getting to the point of no return here. So yeah,
How long has it been?
a week and a half, but that's
Yeah.
No, come on, that's
Here's the thing.
I usually start again after like 3 or 4 days. I feel like if you make it past the week threshold, you're good.
Well, the fact that you're talking about it now, it'll be embarrassing if people see you smoking because you've said this. And
yeah, well, no, I've given up before. I gave up for a year before, and then I started again. It's usually there's certain things.
I thought you just said if you get it past a week, you're okay, and now you said you stopped for a year.
I did. I stopped drinking and smoking for a year in 2011.
Yeah.
The reason I kind of like smoked so much is like it was just a It was like a routine, like I do a sound check, have a cigarette, do a gig, have a cigarette, have food, have a cigarette, and now like I'm not really going to be touring for a while or working, so I don't need to.
Sounds like now's the time to smoke. It really, there's nothing going on.
2. Liam Payne. After the birth of his son Bear, Liam Payne quit smoking in 2017 and went cold turkey. He struggled to curb the habit for good, though, and caved in after less than a year. In 2018, the former One Direction band member tried again. He reportedly enlisted the help of a hypnotherapist to help him quit. In an article in the Daily Mail, Payne's second attempt is said to have been successful, and the singer is loving his new life smoke-free. It really seems as though he's managed to give it up for good this time. Has he really? One. Etta James. Etta James' sultry, powerful vocals earned her the nickname the Queen of Soul. Her career began in the 1950s before achieving widespread commercial success over the following decade. Her voice was extremely versatile, and she dabbled in gospel, blues, jazz, soul, and rock and roll. She is considered to be a trailblazer of modern blues music and is remembered for songs such as At Last and I'd Rather Go Blind. Even during the worst of times, Miss James recorded well-received albums, and reviewers noted how her personal turmoil seemed to enhance her singing. There was a heroin addiction that James said she finally kicked in 1975. A few years later, the problem was cocaine. I thought I was clear of the heroin, but I heard cocaine wasn't habit forming. I was having plenty of gigs, doing all right, but I never came home with any money. I was drinking Remy Martin, smoking cigarettes, and taking cocaine. I put down all those things in one day and never touched them again. But now I know you have to be in recovery all your life.
Present to you your first Grammy Award. Best Jazz Vocal Performance, 1994. Mystery Lady, songs of Billie Holiday. Miss Etta James.
That was Etta James receiving a well-deserved Grammy Award.
Thanks for tuning in to uncover the secrets of rock and roll's worst smokers. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And while you're here, why not check out our other fascinating videos? hit that playlist and keep the good times rolling. See you in the next one.